Hello everyone, this is Rabab Alma, licensed marriage and family therapist and international life coach. Today's subject is the impact of your marital relationship on your marriage. Let me know where are you joining me from, which country, which city, which state. I will go ahead and share this video with my other pages. This is an important topic that's usually discussed a lot in my practice with my couples, and I would like to address it. Again, let me know where are you contacting me from. I'm gonna go ahead and share this live with my other pages. These lives are not meant for professional, medical, or therapeutic help. This is for general info only. So let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions or comments, please address them on the comment section. I will be happy to address your comments. So the topic for today is Jamila, thank you for Jamila Ya Ain Yabrud, thank you for watching. So the impact of your marital relationship on your children. So I see a lot of couples at my practice, and sometimes they come in and they have a problem with their child. And often I see that we need to work with the parents actually separately or first, because you see that the child is impacted, what's happening within the family, within the family system. So let's start from the beginning when we get married. So when we decide to get married, we need to, do you have like that concept on what is this marriage all about? Marriage is not just about intimacy and having sex and someone to love. It's more than that. It's an institution. And this institution needs to be, to have or to include and to be based on love and compassion. And based on that, so it's very expected and inevitable to have issues and arguments and some problems and conflicts within the marriage, but how far and how soon you come into therapy and to seek help. A lot of people come to therapy and they say that they were having this problem for like 10 years, 20 years, even more than that. And when we think that problems can be resolved on their own, but they don't. And they perpetuate and they accumulate and they get complex and they affect our children, especially if there are argument and conflicts constantly. So all of this, a lot of the issues that we see with the children usually stem from the or a lot of time, I'm not going to say usually, a lot of time it's affected or because of or stemmed from the marital relation or the marital conflict. So we know that a lot of people stay in the marriage because they think that, oh, we need to stay together because it's better for the children. But actually, research say that it's even worse for the children to stay in the marriage, to stay in a family when there are a lot of conflict. It's even worse for them mentally, psychologically, and health-wise. If they are with a family, there are a lot of conflicts and difficulties and insults and violence, and so it's better for the children. It's actually, in this case, it's better to have a divorce. So what do you think of this topic? How do you handle these conflicts in your family? Do you address them right away? Do you wait until things, you think that things will solve on their own? So if we wait on problems to be solved on their own, they won't. Problems actually exacerbate and get more complex. So I have here a couple of comments here that I prepared for this live, and we need to understand that the damage is way more greater for children to stay in a troubled marriage or family than if we choose to divorce. So the children, all families, all marriages, they have conflicts. issues, but we need to understand where it is, or to differentiate between when it's healthy and what becomes unhealthy. When we have this argument frequently, intense, there are criticism, there are silent treatment, aggressiveness, violence, abuse, then this can really affect children greatly. The art of a relationship, of resolving issues and conflicts within the family, is actually to know how to manage conflicts. It's okay to have conflicts and disagreements, because sometimes when we resolve them with our spouses, it actually we build a new connection and a new bond. So it's important to understand that the argument and the constant and frequent argument between the parents have a lasting impact on the children. Jesse, thank you for watching. So when there is something with the going on between the parents, and there are issues between the couple, the children will experience anxiety, and they will blame themselves, and they might feel that they're afraid or scared or sad, and that will show in their behaviors. Like it will show in their school activity. They will lose interest, for instance, in homework and going to school. They will start to self-medicate by sometimes overeating, defiance, or they are overly hello Neso, or overly clingy and lose interest in work. Or Reem is watching, thank you for watching. So these are, whatever we see the children are exhibiting, we need to understand the root of the problem. So children, when they see their parents fighting all the time, that will leave sometimes lasting impact on the children's psyche. So we need to be mindful of that. We need to be mindful that when we adults have a conflict, we need to model for the children how to disagree in a civil way, how to actually have a conversation about the issue, how we resolve issues, how we talk to each other, how we communicate. And children will mirror that. If we are arguing and experiencing conflict all the time, and Gottman, in his book, how the 7 principles of how to make a marriage work, he talks about the 4 horsemen that can predict divorce: defensiveness, contempt, stonewalling, and criticism. So if we are treating each other within the family, within the marital relationship, with criticism, defensiveness, silent treatment, children are noticing, and this will impact the children, impact their anxiety, their insecurity. They will start blaming themselves. If I only behave differently, then my parents won't fight. So they will take responsibility. Should we allow children to have cell phones? Well, that's another topic, but each situation is different, and that's something that we need to discuss in another topic. But we need to always have boundaries when it comes to allowing children or not allowing them to have something or not to have it. So back to our topic, when we talk about when there are conflicts in the household, when we are having issues as spouses, we need to be mindful not to fight and not to have these conflicts. Anissa Diab is watching. Thank you for watching, Anissa. We need to be mindful of not fighting and arguing in front of the children. And if we have disagreement, we need to really model to them how to argue, how to disagree, how to negotiate, how to talk about it, and how to communicate about it. So a lot of times the children feel Reem saying, oh, thank you, Reem. The children, when they see the parents are fighting constantly, cursing each other, yelling, screaming, they will start feel guilty about it. they will feel guilty about it, and they will think that it's their fault. And this will show in their self-esteem, the way they carry themselves, the way they perform at school with their friends. So usually when I have couple and they will bring the child to therapy, I will try to see the whole family if possible. And I would like to first to explore the parenting style, the relationship between the parents, and the environment at home. Because the children are affected by what's going on in the family. So there's another issue that we need to think about when children live in this kind of environment. They feel the pressure to take care of everyone else's emotions. So, and that will create stress and depression. So when we see the child is having issue at school or with their behavior, we need to understand where is this coming from. What's bothering them, not only at school. And I know sometimes with families, or it happened also when we were children. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes in some cultures. Mona said, thank you for watching. She said, so we need to be stable in the relationship before having children. So we need to be mindful. We need to be self-aware. We need to have this discipline. We need to have self-control. We need to act like an adult. We need to act like grown-ups. So we cannot argue and scream and yell and shout at each other and then expect our children to show respect and to speak softly and respectfully. We need to model that for themselves, to them. We need to display that to them. And if we are not, they're going to learn from us. Nasir is watching. Thank you for watching. So the problem is sometimes some of the parents will ask the children or will call on the children to take sides. Are you agreeing with me or your mom, or with me or your dad? And then starts this kind of alliances, and this can be really damaging to the children. So when we have really a lot of differences, we really need to weigh whether we stay in the marriage or we divorce. And a lot of times when we have a lot of differences and we cannot reconcile, we definitely need to make a decision. We cannot say that we are staying in the marriage because of the children or for the children and life is hell. We cannot do that, because this is actually more damaging. What are we teaching them about relationships? What are we teaching them about love? Are we teaching them what life and what love and a family looks like, what marriage looks like, or are we teaching them the other image that it's always about fighting and screaming and shouting, and we're creating this sense of insecurity? And you see some of the children are so clingy, for instance, to other adults, or they are seeking help from outside. There is an issue. There is an issue, and are we able to own a responsibility, or to take responsibility of our own action and really be grown-ups and to take responsibility of our own emotional reactivity, and model to the children how people need to address their emotions, disagreements, and arguments and conflicts. So something is very important that we need to talk about is abuse and domestic violence. When people are experiencing domestic violence, and some people, for instance, they have alcoholism in the house, or a lot of aggressiveness and violence, then we need to take actions, and you need to seek help and professional help. If there is violence, I mean, I know when there is violence, we need to be, and domestic violence, we need to be careful about when to leave and how to leave, because sometimes things exacerbate around that time. And we know cases, like recent cases of women got killed. I think the case was in Canada, when the woman, she got killed when she decided to leave. So you need, in this kind of situations, you need to seek professional help, so you don't cause more harm. But definitely when we talk about conflicts, frequent discord in the family between the husband and wife, and between the union, the marital union, we need to be mindful of the impact of that on children and what kind of a damage we are causing, the lasting impact on these conflicts, insults. Some people, when they're angry, say really, really hurtful stuff to each other. And if the children are witnessing that, and sometimes you say that I'm in a room and no one is hearing, we know that. I mean, if someone is screaming upstairs, we can hear them downstairs. So you want to be mindful. And I think that will encourage people to look into themselves and grow from within. Because screaming, shouting, yelling, will that really resolve an issue? Insulting and humiliation and criticism and putting people the other down. What are we going to benefit out of that? There's actually no benefit. We're not going to resolve any issue when we use, Fatima Kore is watching. Thank you for watching. So when we are talking to each other that way, how are we expecting our children to respect us, to behave in a civil way, to be able to communicate effectively, or to manage their conflicts effectively? So when we are shouting and screaming and yelling, and when they go to the school and they shout and scream at their friends at school, Wala, Muhammad, Rashid, judging, yeah, judgment also, that's and jumping to conclusions also mind reading, it's a big one, mind reading. Fatima Kora, thank you for watching. Mind reading. So you should know what I was thinking about or what I wanted. We should not assume. We need not to assume what other. We need to tell the person what we are expecting of them, what we want from them. Okay, instead of like just assuming and screaming and shouting, and when we are using that way of communication with our spouses, the children will learn from us. You know, children learn from us when we scream and shout. And then they go to school, and when they have disagreement with their classmates, they're gonna scream and shout because this is what they know. And then it's gonna come back to you. It's gonna come back at home, and they will call you at school, and they will say, "Okay, this is happening," and then that issue is way more deeper than that. Just a child is having an issue, an argument at school. So are we modeling the effective way of communication within the family? Are we managing, are we addressing issues right away? Or we are waiting years and years? There are some studies shows that families, couples at least wait more than 6 years until they come to therapy to address their issues. And some people wait for so many years until like it's so complicated that sometimes it's irreversible. Wala said, yes, this will be a vicious circle. So we definitely need to be mindful. I mean, when we get into a relationship, did we decide what we want out of it? What do you want out of your relationship with your spouse? Do you want to have a harmonious, loving relationship? Then we need to work at it, and we need to really know how to do it. And if we don't, we need to learn that. Whether we go to a therapist, professional help, premarital counseling is extremely important. If someone did not do it, then you can do, when you see there is a problem is surfacing, this needs to be addressed because time will not resolve it. And people build resentment. A lot of us have our own personal individual issues, our issues that we bring with us from our family of origins. So we bring it to our marriage, and then this will affect our children, and this will impact our children when they become parents themselves. And I talked about this before in one of my talks. So why did I end up with psychology? I never thought that I will be a therapist. Never. I was working with business and pharmaceuticals all my life. And then my child, and I'm a single mother, and my child was a little girl. Now she's grown in college. And I found myself repeating same words and patterns that I used to dread and swear by God that I would not do it. And I found myself doing the same exact thing. And this is how I decided to study psychology, particularly marriage and family therapy. because I wanted to understand how come. This what boggled my mind, so puzzled me so much. How come something I resented and I dreaded and I promised myself I will never do, I catch myself doing it? How come? Why? Why, when I get mad, I default to that? And that actually was like a station in my life, and I decided to study marriage and family therapy. And that's how I fell in love with this field, and I started later on to be a marriage and family therapist. But it's extremely important to do the work. We need to do the work on ourselves to be better people, a better person, better spouse, better parent, better individual in general. I think we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to our children to work on ourselves, and they see us working ourselves. They see us that we are doing putting the effort. One more thing, we don't need as parents to be perfect. We need to be good enough. So when we do mistakes, we address them. If we do something wrong, we take responsibility and we say sorry. We own our own mistakes. We teach our children that this is normal. We're human. We do mistakes, and we actually own them, and we address them, and we apologize when it's warranted. So children learn from us. And they learn from our action, not by what we say. So we need to be mindful of that. And we need to understand that our marital relationship impacts our children tremendously. Tremendously. And this impacts their self-esteem, their self-worth, their insecurity or security, their achievements at school, their future vision of their own selves, how they view their life, how they view their future. They're impacted by all of that. This is a huge responsibility. Those children are their trust in our hands, and we need to do well at taking care of that trust. I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, please hit like, share. I'm sure someone will benefit from this. And if you have issues, if you have something, you don't have to have mental health disorder to come to therapy. You can come to therapy with just something that you're dealing with, and that's fine. And you address it early so you are able to manage it at an early stage. So if you think that you need help or professional help, you can contact me, you can email me, you can call me. Seek professional help in your area and try to work on it so you can help deliver better communication style, enjoy your life, enjoy your relationship with your spouse, your children, and your family members. Also with the community at large. So if you like this video, please hit like and share. I will download this on YouTube, and you can watch it there, and you can subscribe. I wish you a wonderful evening, and thank you for watching.